Let's talk business with John Grace. He's the founder and president of the Investors Advantage Corporation. Thanks for being with us, John. As we just mentioned, S&P closing flat but hovering near a record high. What's your outlook?
Well, I think it's time for everybody to enjoy the upside but prepare for the downside. We talked about 2018, where we prepared people that the market may go up and then finish in the red, and certainly it did. We know that investors were off 20% fourth quarter 2018. I would not be surprised to see this unfold again. Remember, that started about this time, September 2021. And I wouldn't be surprised if the decline the next time is more like 27% to the downside. We've tested the highs at 27.
A decline of 27% over what period of time, John?
Well, I don't know when it might start. I'm saying that's how it might end. But that's my point. It's not about the prediction as much as it's about the preparation, Michelle. So if you're prepared, you don't have to worry about the timing, because it's like an earthquake or a flood or a tornado. If you're ready, you can ride mostly.
All right,
but
so
if you're
John,
not ready, then it becomes shock and awe.
What's your tip on how to prepare for this big downturn that you're projecting?
Yeah, this just might be the first one. So as I say, we're seeing some signs, certainly some cracks in the concrete, and the things that we think hold up well for most investors is, one, to figure out what kind of loss you can accept. That's a great question to answer, and most investors haven't been asked that question. Two, to look at how you can add active management strategies to the equation that can move your money out of risk assets in a bad year and into safety like cash or alternatives, and then back into risk assets like bonds and stocks and things that have more volatility like 2009. So you miss as much of the loss in a bad year, '08, and you want to enjoy as much of the gain as you possibly can, like in 2009.
All right, John, I want to get your thoughts on the U.S.-China trade talks. The negotiators have resumed face-to-face talks today. They're laying the groundwork for the bigger talks, the higher-level officials that are supposed to start chatting early October. Are you getting a sense that there could be this sort of interim deal that's been hinted at?
I think that's a real possibility, and I think we have to watch this kind of information very closely, because we all like the green shoots. We all like the good news. Everybody wants to cheer on the win. But it may be that both sides are very entrenched, and certainly we've got some huge egos in the equation and some very different ways of looking at problems. And right now, I don't think we're making much progress along those lines. I want to see more meat on the bone as opposed to all the promissory notes.
John, why should the president back down now, if indeed that's what he's planning on doing? Because there are serious issues to address, not just the trade imbalance. There's also the intellectual property violations, which arguably are even bigger of an issue. There you've got the forced transfer of data, a number of issues. The U.S. economy is doing well. It's doing far better than the Chinese economy right now. Why shouldn't the president just continue to push for the best deal that he can? Is it all about politics and positioning himself for 2020?
I can't see what his end game is. And let's go back and learn from history, because for the most part we don't do that. And so we end up repeating it, or history certainly does rhyme. And the first time I can see where we got into a troubling time was the trade wars started in 1930, the Smoot-Hawley Act. And that was similar, right, where the president wanted to protect U.S. farmers and imposed tariffs on, I believe, 20,000 incoming goods. Only my economist friends tell me that was the primary catalyst that caused the U.S. to slip from a serious recession into the Great Depression.
Right.
So what I'm trying to say here is it's a lot of wild cards in the deck. There are no, frankly, trump cards. I'm not sure what the cards are, but they can fall in any number of ways and turn things upside down in ways that we just don't imagine.
We got to leave it there. John, thank you so much. John Grace, founder and president of the Investors Advantage Corporation.